Where do I even start? Okay, so 3 years ago, I was actively uploading on my YouTube channel about my life and my 3 pet rats, Max, Arlo, and Flynn. Then, my last video I had uploaded, I was very excited to announce that I had created an Instagram account and that my next video was gonna be a Q&A. So yeah, for my next video, probably my next video, I will be doing a Q&A. So go to the Instagram, ask me a question if you have a question, and I will most likely feature it in the next video. So without further ado, let's answer some Q&A questions from 2021. Okay. So December 20th, 2021, Emma says, "Hi Reeselli, I wanted to ask you 2 questions for your Q&A. Do you plan on getting more rats? Do you ever regret not getting female rats? I love your videos, sending love from Czech Republic." Great question, Emma, from 2021. Okay, so I am genuinely going to answer those questions because they lead into a great story, but I am going to give some explanation as to where I disappeared to. So back when I was uploading on my YouTube channel, I was taking a gap year after high school and I was non-stop working as a waitress to save up for school. Then I think, was it shortly after that video, I think, I went away to college and then I dropped out of college. I don't know if it was like the stress of school, saving up, just things changing around me, but I just gave up on the YouTube channel. Like I just disappeared. And for kind of just starting out, it was going pretty well. I think I had reached almost 1,000 subscribers. I was at like 900 something. And even in that last video, I was like, thank you guys so much for 300 plus subscribers. Then after that, I had gotten like 600 more. I'd gotten up to 900. Yeah, math. So yeah, I don't know if it was the stress of life changing or if I just felt like I couldn't dedicate my time to YouTube, but I just gave up. And recently, I've been really regretting it. I rewatched my old videos and like the energy that I had and just reading the comments. Even my recent video, people are like, where did you go? You could have been a good YouTuber. And my boyfriend now, he's like, why did you let go of that YouTube channel? Like, I don't know. I used to be the kind of person that would start things, and if I felt like I couldn't dedicate my like full attention to those things, then I would just like give up. And I would like to say that I'm not like that anymore. I have a lot of things that I love doing and I'll take breaks from them, but I always resume them, and I'm more of a patient, dedicated person than I was back then. So I really want to not let this go and kind of start back up again. But yeah, I have a lot of questions to answer and a lot of stories to tell. Okay, so going back to Emma's question, she says, do you plan on getting more rats? So this was December 20th, 2021. Wow, okay, so I'm like trying to do the math on it. I was clearly halfway through my gap year and I went to school in September. So how many months later is that? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay, so 9 months later, I went to school. I don't know what I was doing in those 9 months. I was stressed. I was not myself. So I go away to school and then it wasn't for me and I dropped out and I had my rats at my home with my parents. They were looking after them for me while I was away in school. My rats, Max, Arlo, and Flynn. And then it was in December 2022 when my first rat had passed away, Max. My mom liked to call herself like the stay-at-home nurse for him as he was aging. He was just the sweetest little thing ever. And unfortunately, he was the first to go. I think he was 2 years old and 4 months. which was pretty good in my eyes. Rats live to be about 2 to 3 years, and my rats were rescues from a accidental litter, and the litter that they had come from, those rats were supposed to be snake food. So I had gotten them off of Kijiji from a lady that was like, accidental litter, please take them, like they need a home. Anyways, I didn't think they were even gonna live very long because they weren't bred any sort of way to live long, but the first rat, he lived to be 2 years and 4 months, which was really great. It was around that time that I ended up dropping out of school. It just wasn't for me. And my parents were like, don't waste your money, get out of school, figure out what you want to do. I had at this point 2 rats, and if you're a rat owner, you know that you can't get into a situation where you have 1 rat left. So I decided that I was gonna adopt some more. And since I loved my rats so much, I was gonna spend some more money on these ones and go to a reputable breeder. So I had spent a while researching, and I don't know if it's just Canada or like where I am, there's just not a lot of rat breeders. That might be everywhere. But I ended up finding a rat breeder that was like 2-3 hours away from me, and she actually specialized in dwarf rat breeding, and she had been breeding for, I think she said like 30 generations of rats or something. I think it was like 18 years she had been breeding rats. So I was like, okay. And like she had stellar reviews, she just seemed very reputable. She had bred other types of animals before, but again, she specialized in dwarf rat breeding, which I still had my standard rats, and I just didn't know if I wanted to get into that. I still wanted to stick with my standard rats. Anyways, she had made a post saying that she never really works with standard rats, but during this time she had standard rats, and I was like, ooh, okay, perfect. So I reached out, and she had 3 boys available. So it just felt like it was perfect for me. And I had made the drive with my boyfriend for 2 hours or 3 hours, can't remember how far, it was a far drive to pick these boys up. So I was just so excited to bring these 3 boys home. They were just the cutest little things. They all had different coatings and colors, and I just thought they were so sweet together. One was just like a gray one, a white one, and then a black one with like a spotted belly. And I was so excited about that because my rats had all kind of looked very similar, and the only way I could tell the difference between them was the patterns on their belly and their weight. But yeah, these were the first rats I was bringing home that kind of all had separate looks to them. Right away, they had just these really social personalities, which I never got with my first rats. My first rats were very, very, very nervous and skittish, and it took a long time for even one of them to come out of their cage. So first thing I noticed was, wow, these rats are really socialized. Like, this is what you get for getting bred rats. Bred? Yeah. They were just amazing, and I did the whole carrier method. I introduced them to my 2 older boys. I wasn't too nervous. I had done a lot of research, and I mean, these 3 were really young boys, and then my 2 weren't very rambunctious anymore. They were old, they were slowing down, and yeah, the carrier method went well. You put the rats together in a carrier, if you don't know, and then you slowly increase their space, and if they continue to get along, then you are able to incorporate them together into your regular cage. So I did that. It went really, really well. I had some like funny moments, and I documented it all with the thought of, okay, you know, maybe I'll make a YouTube video on this, but life was still just like getting away from me, and I just never got to it. I never made a YouTube video, and it was always in the back of my mind, but never did it. So I went through the carrier method, and then for a little bit there, I had 5 rats, and they were getting along great. They were so cute together. It was a lot of fun to have so many rats and so many personalities. But then over time, my one rat, he was really pushing it, and he just got to that time. He was old and he passed away. And then that was Flynn. And then my third final rat in that litter was Arlo, and he lived to be 2 years and 9 months, which was just like insane to me that he almost lived to be 3 years old, because again, he was just a rescue rat. He wasn't bred for any sort of genetics. My point with that is that I thought that my other rats were not going to last so long, but they did. They lasted for a very long, healthy life, and it was just amazing. So after that, I had those 3 boy rats who I named Cosmo, Scout, and Mayo. They were so sweet, so full of life. They were just my little babies, and it was a great time. It was a great time. However, do you plan on getting more rats, and do you ever regret not getting female rats? As my male rats aged, it became sort of a horror story. It was very difficult. I'm still a person that leans more towards owning male rats. A lot of people will say that if you get female rats, that they're gonna get tumors and you're gonna have to deal with that. And for me, I'm like, okay, that's too much. I don't want to deal with that. That's just a personal thing. And like, I just prefer my boy rats. However, these male rats that I had adopted, as they grew older and were no longer babies and started to get more and more testosterone, it just turned really bad. So it was October 1st, 2023, when I had went to my rat cage and noticed a massive gouge taken out of my rat's face. This was just something I had never ever had to deal with before. My 3 previous rats just got along. I mean, rats play fight all the time and whatever, but a bite or a gouge, never had I ever had to deal with it. I've watched many YouTube videos on what to do if it's happened, but I just didn't think it would happen to me. I came into the room and I noticed that Mayo, my sweetest little rat, as a little backstory, he was just my baby. Like, he was so clingy, he was so sweet, so cuddly. The other rats, they had their personalities that I loved, but Mayo was just the most like open. I would bring him out, I would put him on people. He was just my baby. So when I came in the room and I saw he had this gouge on his face, and I'm filming this now. I don't know if I'm gonna insert the photos of this. I don't even know if I can, or if people want to see it, but I might put them at the end if I find out I can. But I will put a warning. I had seen this gouge and I just freaked out. I was like, when did this happen? I can't exactly remember. I mean, I was working every day at this point. I was out of college, found a new job, and I don't know if it was overnight. I don't know if it was like while I was at work, but there was a gouge and it had dried. Like, it wasn't fresh, and I just hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen him, I hadn't noticed it, and totally freaked out. So I packed up the rats, put them in the carrier, brought them to a vet, and I had a really, really good vet an hour away that was just so good with rats. Brought them to the vet and got it checked out, and he was like, it's okay, like, it's gonna heal, this happens, you don't know what it could have been, you don't know if the rats hurt because I thought the rats hurt each other. He was like, you don't know if that's what happened, like, sometimes rats accidentally do that, and I was like, okay, true. So yeah, he kind of reassured me. He was like, it's gonna heal up fine. I mean, if you want me to prescribe antibiotics, or I can't remember, he was like, I can, but my recommendation is that he's gonna be okay. And he doesn't seem like he's in pain. I can't remember at that time if I still took like antibiotics. I don't remember, but basically I was very reassured. And so from then on, I kind of kept a close eye on them. Again, I didn't know if it was an accident. I didn't know if one of the rats had done it. I don't even know which rat could have done it, because none of my rats had ever shown any like violence to biting or whatever. So one day I'm in the room alone and a massive fight breaks out in the cage. I'm not gonna go too in detail, but basically Mayo's face had reopened and Cosmo was attacking him. And so I opened the cage, grabbed my hand to kind of separate them, and he turned around and he bit me really hard. Sorry for interrupting. I'm editing the video and I have decided that I am going to insert some clips for those who are interested. Of course, if you are not interested in seeing wounds or a bite, then I will insert a countdown, and during that countdown you can pause the video and skip to the timestamp I have included, and then you can just totally skip over any of these clips. If you are interested in watching, all it is a bite on my finger, and then, I'm not gonna lie, a pretty rough looking wound on my rat's face. This can honestly happen with any animal. Any animal can bite, any animal can attack. This is not any sort of like, look at what rats can do. Like, no. I have owned rats for 3 loving years. So yeah, I'm not posting this to be like, you know, scaring anyone. So yeah, this was very, very devastating for me. The rats were like not even a year old yet. They had kind of just gotten, I don't remember how old they were, but they weren't babies anymore, and I guess the testosterone was starting to really like fill in their bodies, and they were growing up, and that's, I guess, when aggression starts to show. And so I now witnessed this rat attack my rat, and he attacked me. So I grabbed the 2 other rats, Scout and Mayo, out of the cage, and I separated them because I had 2 cages. And I didn't know what to do. I was freaking out. I called my vet. Immediately my mind went to, I need to neuter him, because when rats get aggressive, they typically have too much testosterone and they need to be neutered. And I knew that. So I called my vet. He said, we don't offer that, but I do know a clinic so far away that offers neuters. And I was like, done, I'm doing it, like, sign me up. So the rats lived separate for a while until I was able to get that booked and get that done. Another thing I was noticing at the time was how severely allergic I was to them. I had never had allergies to cats, dogs. I didn't have allergies to much, and I never had allergies to my previous rats. These rats, I was like hiving up, I was turning red, I was going bumpy, my nose would clog, and then during a certain amount of time, like, I literally was starting to feel my throat really, really get sore. And I was sharing a room with them. I was like, the cage is in my room. I'd sleep with them in the room. But that was something I was just like, okay, let it go. Just allergic, whatever. Anyways, rat bites me. I get him neutered. I'm like, I'm working this out. It honestly was like, it was scarring. It took a while to reintroduce them. You're supposed to reintroduce them, I think, as if they've never really known each other. I put them in like a neutral space on the bed, reintroduced them after, I can't remember how long, it was like months, or it was weeks or a month, or you're supposed to wait until the testosterone settles in the body after a neuter. But I reintroduced them, and all was okay. The allergies that I was getting from the rats was starting to really interfere with my bond and my connection that I was having with them. I was literally finding it hard to hold them, get close to them, everything. And then that was sort of building, and I would still push myself and like literally have an allergic reaction. I was taking allergy meds, they weren't even working. And then after the rat attacked me, I called up this breeder and, well, I emailed her. You know, they're supposed to be socialized, very well bred. I have one rat trying to kill the other. I've been attacked by the rat. I'm severely allergic to them. Like, this is horrible. She called me right away. She basically was like, I'm so sorry, this is your experience. You can bring them back to me. I'll give you new rats. I was like, whoa, like, I don't want that. And she told me on the phone that the other rats in that same litter that she was giving to other people were very aggressive, and that she felt that they had too much testosterone. Whatever that means. I don't know how you breed rats wrong. I don't know how it works. I just thought she was like very reputable, very trustworthy, and I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't want to like say anything bad about her because she was very, very sweet to me. She was very sorry, and she said, I will take them. I have a lady that can rehome them, like that will take them in. They'll be safe here. And I mean, I was listening to it all, but I was like, no, like immediately I was like, no, I don't want that, I want to keep them. So anyways, I had gotten him neutered, and then I had reintroduced the rats to each other, and then I had put them in the cage when the time was right, and it was okay, but my allergies were really, really, really struggling, like really struggling. I was also noticing that the rats were, like their tails and their coats were turning orange. Like I was noticing they were kind of orange, and I was Googling this, like, why are my rats like kind of orange? Overproduction of testosterone. Okay, they just were not bred right. I don't know. I was just having a really hard time bonding and connecting with them. My, like, the allergy medication I was trying to take was just not even working, and it was really rough. And then it happened again where now Scout, my gray rat, bit a different rat. I was just like, whoa, okay, I need to get them all neutered now. It was such a problem, and I was like, I just don't think they get along. And when rats don't get along, you have to go through this whole process of maybe rehoming one, bringing in other ones, trying them with different rats, and it was getting to be a lot. It just went really sour, and it makes me really sad because I loved my time with my rats. I feel like I'm still known for owning rats, like with my friends and everything, and it's like, it was such a huge part of me, but it just was not working out with these three, and I ended up rehoming them. After another rat attacked another one, I think it was Scout attacked Cosmo or something, and I was like, these boys aren't getting along, and I called back up the original breeder. You know, I don't know what to do. I don't want to get rid of them, but like, I am so allergic to them. And just in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, she had told me that that same litter was acting aggressive towards other clients or other people she had sold them to. And I was just like, this is just such a mess. And so, yeah, we had talked on the phone, and she said, I have a lady that loves taking in and rescuing rats, and she will keep them for you, and they will go to a great place. When I brought them to rehome them and I picked them up, I noticed that Scout was developing a tumor. So now I had rats that were aggressive, that were attacking me, attacking each other. One I had to get neutered, one was getting a tumor, and then I literally was heavily allergic to them. It was, it was just insane. So bringing it back to the question, do I ever regret not having female rats? Kind of. And I'm half joking. That experience does not make up how sweet boy rats are and how great of a pet and animal rats are in general. I would still in the future get male rats again. Like, I love them. I still love those 3 that I owned for a very long time. And then the 3 that I had before I loved, and I would do it all over again. I would not get from a breeder ever again. I just wouldn't do it. I don't know. I had that really strong connection with my little Mayo, and I mean, I had a connection with all the rats, Scout and Cosmo as well, but Mayo never attacked a rat. He was just always sweet, but I was still heavily allergic to him, and so I just decided that for a while I just needed to take a break from rats, and I rehomed them, and that's where the story ends. For some funsies, in 2022, January 5, a person messaged me and said, "Hello, here's a question for the Q&A. Could you tell us more about having the rat cage in your bedroom? Is it noisy at night, and do you get used to it?" Yes, it's very noisy at night. I mean, I just find I have the Critter Nation, and I had I didn't have bells, but I had things hanging, and I would find that it would there was just a racket at night. Yeah, I found it a little bit loud, but I sleep through anything personally, and I always found that it was worth it to have them in my room. And yeah, I mean, I got used to it. I was always used to it because I just sleep through everything. So yeah, just after reflecting and looking at my channel and seeing all the comments and how sweet everybody is, and I have people being like, "Where did you go? I loved your content, and this could have gone somewhere." It's so true. It could have gone somewhere, and I still want it to. I don't know where to kind of bring the channel to. Okay, so without further ado, I recently adopted 2 new female rats. They're a little bit bigger than your standard sized rat. I'm still using the double Critter Nation. It's just the perfect size for these jumbo-sized rats. Isn't that right? So yeah, there is just so much that has changed. I'm running a cleaning business right now. I was trying to lightly make some cleaning TikToks, which that's just my obsession now. I crochet, I have 2 pet cats, as you can see now. There's just a lot different, and I would still love to make YouTube videos and kind of figure it out from here if people are still kind of interested. I don't know. I'd love to make little fun fact videos while doing some fun stuff. I'm just gonna kind of feel it out and see where this goes. But thank you guys for having 3 years of patience if you're watching this video right now, or if you've just found my channel because I've opened up about it and you're watching me. Thanks. Yeah, that's all. Bye.